Okay, so up until now, you guys have accumulated a ton of knowledge. You've worked together to move that and transition that from knowledge to understanding and to contextualize some of that knowledge that you've gained. And so now one of the things that we're going to do is give you that opportunity to put into action those things that we've learned. And we like to equip you guys with some action templates for moving forward into the next 6 months of your church life. And we do some different formats, and for this one we've chosen to use a template that we call the Commander's Intent. And you're going to be working on this for about the next hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes as a team to generate your move forward plan from this point. One of the things I like to do is when we're talking about moving forward, we don't talk about things that we could do or should do or need to do. We talk about things that we will do. And that language is important. That language is intentional. It says this is the direction we are going. This is what we will accomplish as we lead. In this template, Commander's Intent, it deals with the American military. You know, some of the greatest innovations in technology that we've ever seen were initiated there. GPS, digital cameras, microwave ovens, computers, and most important of all, especially to those of us who have a background in the youth ministry, duct tape came out of the military. And that doesn't even address all of the weaponry and vehicular technology that were developed for defense purposes. But all of that amazing technology that they've developed is useless if it's not implemented effectively, and that's where planning comes into play. It begins there. Every move that a soldier makes in combat is preceded by a staggering amount of planning, and that can be traced back to an original order that was given by the Commander-in-Chief. And he orders the Joint Chiefs to accomplish an objective. They set the parameters for that operation, and then those orders begin to move downward through the generals, the colonels, the captains, and onward as the orders get more granular in nature. And as they get lower, the plans get more and more specific to guide the actions of the individuals who are accomplishing specific tasks at specific times to reach specific objectives. But here's the problem. Those plans often turn out to be completely useless. Colonel Tom Colditz made this statement. He says, no plan survives contact with the enemy. And I think that's completely true in the church world, too, although the enemy would be our people, so that doesn't really work out. But no church plan survives contact with a Sunday morning service, let's say that, or with a new program. As soon as you begin to implement it, the plan needs to change. It needs to adapt. In military, it's weather, the enemy's responses, any number of factors change the way that it has to be implemented in ways they could have never predicted. And plans are useful because they show that planning has taken place. They help you to think through the obstacles that you're going to face along the way. Research shows us that every hour spent in planning saves us 2 to 3 hours in executions. So people who say, I don't like to plan, it's just a waste of time, they don't get it. Because it saves you time to invest time in planning. And so to face the reality of the shifting battlefield in the 1980s, the U.S. military adapted this process, inventing a concept called the Commander's Intent. And it's a specific, directed statement that appears at the top of every order, all the way from the top to the bottom, laying out that plan's goal. What they should achieve, no matter what. It does not change. It's broad enough so that it doesn't get made obsolete by changing circumstances. You can lose the ability to execute the original plan because everything has changed so much, but you never lose the responsibility of executing the intent of those original orders. And so that's what we want to walk away with here. Your first thing is going to be to generate the Commander's Intent. What is the one thing that as you walk away, what has to happen in your church, across your network of campuses? What is the one thing that you have to achieve no matter what? This is the high-stakes thing that has to happen. So that is the Commander's Intent. Then you're going to get granular. You're going to get into the tactics. So we want you to list out 4 or 5 goals here of what's going to help you to achieve that. How are you going to measure those? What are the action steps that have to be taken? Who's the point person? And what is the target completion date? Now, once you write a goal down, we're going to ask you fill out every one of these columns. It's important to have this information at least stated on this template so that way you have made that decision at this point. Now, if you don't have 5 goals that you want to put down, you only have 3 or 4, that's okay. But for every goal, make sure you flesh out the rest of the columns. On the right side, we have some directives. If we do nothing over the next 6 months, we must do this. This is what we have to do if we're going to grow and move forward as an organization and accomplish our goal. The single most important thing we must do in the next month is, and so that helps you take it down even to more immediate. When we get home, when our plane hits the ground and we get dropped off, what are the things that we're going to be thinking about for the next 30 days? This is what has to happen. Just a couple other things. Your aha moments, you might want to list a few things that happened this week where the light bulb went on for you and your team. And then down here, this is kind of a dream moment. What is like your pie in the sky? We would love for this to happen. We don't see this, but this is our Ephesians 3:20 moment for our church. We would love to see this happen as a result of our time spent together over the last few days here. This is what we'd love to see come out of it. So that's the template. Do we have smaller copies of this as well? Worksheets? Julia's in the hall, I think. Hey, Julia? Do we have smaller versions of this, worksheet versions of this for them as well? Okay. We'll have those made available so that way you have something that you can work on and then transfer it onto this. You also have use of your whiteboards. Spread out, use any of the rooms. Usually in the fall and the spring, we like to encourage people to use the balconies. I doubt any of you are going to want to go out there right now, but you're welcome to try. But take some time, get together with your team, and spend the next hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes really digging into the material that you've learned and developing the move forward plan. Any questions on this as we transition? All right. Yes.
Sorry.
Last minute.
Do we have